Welcome back to Making Records with Eric Valentine. That's me. So this is episode 14. I just looked at the date when this was recorded. This is now March of 2022. So, towards the end of 2021, there was all of this time where we went off to Nashville and then in Topanga, did much stuff, and then finally came back. You saw in the end of the last episode our sentimental return home in Vermont. Nice being home. So then the thing I was most excited about when we got home was that before we left, I had started the process of making some wine. And so it would have, sat in its jug and fermented long enough by the time I got back that it would basically be done. Typically it would sit in its final bottle, for longer than that before you'd, serve it to anybody. But like really, the gist of the winemaking process was completed, actually probably even extra long. I think it was they said like 6 weeks is probably what you need for all the sugar to get processed, but this was months later. So it was really done. And so we got back. This is like literally the morning after we got home, arriving home at night, driving forever. I don't know what it was, like 8, 9, 10 days of driving across the country. And the first thing I wanted to do was check out how this wine turned out. Because on this property in Vermont, it was just crazy. There was all these grapevines growing along this portion of fence. And I don't know if somebody actually planted them there intentionally or not. I asked, there's a really incredible home brew and home winemaking shop nearby here, and I asked them, they said, well, there's wild grapes that grow all over in Vermont, and so they're probably just wild grapes. And so I picked a ton of these grapes. This was probably in October or November of 2021 is when I picked them all and had this huge bowl, just like this giant mound of grapes, these dark red grapes, and did the whole process. I got a big 5-gallon bucket, destemmed them as best I could, put them in this winemaking bag, which is like this straining bag, and so you can put everything in the bag and then mash the grapes. So I just used my hands with gloves and mashed all the grapes, and then ultimately you can just take all the debris out, and I've sort of forgot the details of this process, but I think you leave it with the stuff in there for a little bit, for a short period of time. Then you take that stuff out, and then you add the sugar. Oh boy, I might be remembering all this wrong. And then it's supposed to sit for the 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever it is. And you have like this little air seal on there that basically it just has a little water in a trap, and so gas can get out, but nothing can get in to contaminate it. And so when we had to leave for Nashville, I finished setting that up literally like hours before we left, and got it all set up, and so it was waiting there, fermenting the whole time while we were gone, and then we finally got back, and so this is the moment when we returned, and I could pull open this jug. Yeah, that's right, because it was in the bucket first, and I transferred it from the bucket to a jug that had the airlock on it, and the jug is where I added the sugar to bring the alcohol content up to whatever, the normal range for red wine. And yeah, it was a lot of sugar too. I think it was like a pound of sugar. That's something crazy. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was a lot. And so finally we were going to be able to see how this wine turned out. So here it is, making wine in Vermont with the Valentines. And also, that's, of course, Sagan had to have a project of his own, so he was making what he calls pirate pie.
What do we got going on here, sir?
This is my first batch of homemade wine. And it definitely doesn't smell like vinegar.
That's a good sign.
It's a good start. I mean, it smells very sweet. It smells just kind of like grape juice. So maybe...
Oh man, it smells like wine to me.
Yeah? Pretty cool.
Wow.
So we're about to start bottling it up.
Yep,
Right
so we have sterilized bottles here.
Yeah, so these bottles, I made the bleach solution, tablespoon of bleach, a gallon of water, had it sitting there for 10 minutes, then I rinsed it all out with boiled water, and then I sterilized them in the oven at 160 degrees for 15 minutes. So I think the bottles are good to go. The caps have been sterilized in boiling water. And so here we go. It's time to do this. And so we're just gonna...
We're estimating it's gonna take 3 to 4 bottles. So we've got 3 to 4 bottles here.
Yeah. Okay.
And now I'm gonna hold this.
Yeah, please, yeah, this is gonna be a little unstable. So let's see what we got here. I like the color of it. Oh wow.
Oh man, it's pretty.
Look at that.
And then after this happens, how long do we leave it?
Well, I mean, you can drink it right now. So we're gonna have 1 bottle today, and just see what it tastes like. And then
we're gonna drink a whole bottle of this.
I guess, I don't know. We'll try.
Does that seem like a good idea?
It depends how good it is,
yeah.
You know.
Look at that.
And then, man, there's not that much sediment in there. It looks pretty good.
No, it does. It looks clean.
And then,
I love that we have the Alka-Seltzer ready just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
You just never know how it's going to leave us feeling, so we're prepared for anything at this point. How many? What's going on? How many days have we been home?
This is really our first day home. We got home.
That explains so much about why the house looks the way it looks.
Yeah, it's good. We got to put things back together here.
You got to put things back together here.
Yeah, I know. So,
But first,
I've been waiting months to do this.
I mean, every time we've talked about it, it's like, oh my God, we have wine waiting for us at home.
We have our own. So, we got to come up with a name
for our vineyard.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have
Valentine Wines. Come on.
Yeah, Valentine Vineyard.
Valentine Vineyards.
But this particular one, because
meant Valentine's fine wine.
Yeah.
You know, come on, like just do like a Route 66 label, just really just a trashy old, you know.
But like, you know, this stuff. These are wild grapes that were growing on the property, and so I really don't know.
Yeah.
You can't call it like a Cabernet or...
We don't know what it is. Yeah, Vermont wild grapes.
Yeah, wild red.
Wild red.
Called wild red.
Oh, man. It's pretty exciting.
Sagan is working on a concoction of his own over there.
He's
Pirate Pie.
It's called Pirate Pie. This is just, we don't know.
Apparently he needed that serving spoon.
Oh, dear.
It was very important.
Should I go check on what's going on? Okay, Dad's making wine, Sagan's making pirate pie. I'm just following everyone with a vacuum.
Yeah.
That's what's been happening all day. So Mama's making some coffee. That's what I'm doing.
I love this process. It's a process of patience.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see.
You're the king of patience.
How long it takes to really properly strain out all of the sediment and stuff.
I think this is going to be more like 4 or 5 bottles, Dad. Just looking at where this is, you know, how full this is, and how much more wine is in that thing. I think we got a good 5 bottles out of this.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God! What if it's good? Wouldn't that be wild?
I mean, it seems pretty good.
Smells good, but it smells like grape juice.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just have to see if it really fermented. It had plenty of time to ferment. I mean, you're supposed to ferment it in this jug for, 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that. It was in there for 4 months. All the sugar is definitely gone. I put a lot of sugar in there. So.
Did you try a taste?
No, I haven't tried a taste. I want to strain it for, we'll get the sediment out first, and then we'll have a taste of it.
Oh boy.
Properly set up.
Oh, this is exciting. All right, I'm gonna go check on the kid. I'm hearing noises in there. We're gonna see what's going on. What do we got going on in here, sir?
Do you want to be with me doing this stuff?
I would love to be with you making pirate pie. Hi.
Whoa, whoa. You're just going to leave your face.
Okay, so yeah, I love that last clip there. Sagan says that all the time. They're like, "Do you want to play with me?" And it's just irresistible. You just have to. And then him dumping water on the floor and his adorable little oopsie, you know. Yeah, you just can't be mad at that. But the wine was very interesting. So I think in that clip, I never actually had a chance to taste it. But obviously we did, and man, it was not that bad. I was really surprised because it's not hard to make really crappy wine, and this was definitely drinkable. I was pretty surprised, and the alcohol content came in right in that zone. I didn't have a specific gravity scale, so I don't know exactly, but I've had enough to know that it was right in that 12, 13, 14% range, somewhere in there. And totally drinkable. I still have one bottle unopened that's been sitting ever since then. So that was, March of 2022. We're now, so it's been sitting in a bottle for almost exactly a year now. So, so the two bottles I've opened on sort of celebratory occasions. And it's interesting. It doesn't taste like, a more classic red wine. But it almost tastes like, trying to think of the word for it, like sangria. It had a slight hint of that to it. I don't know what that means, but we all sort of felt like, yeah, this is a little bit like a sangria. So then this last year, I got really excited about it and put a whole lot more effort into really tending to the grapes for this season. And so the grapes just grow naturally through the summer, and then in the fall, sort of early fall is a good time to pick them. And so I did a bunch of pruning this time. I got advice from a person who had tended a vineyard for a long time, and like how to trim things back and try and make sure all the energy is really available to all the growing energy goes to the grapes, all of that stuff. And so we did a bunch of trimming, and so this year, it's amazing how Mother Nature just always just comes and fucking kicks your ass right when you think you know what you're doing. So what happened was I trimmed everything back so the grapes were more exposed, the way you'd see, in a typical vineyard, because usually they're trimmed way back and all the grapes are just, beautifully just all hanging there, you can see everything. But what happened here when the grapes were exposed is that critters came and ate every single last one of them, all gone. I couldn't find a single grape. We went on another trip this year. I can't remember when it was now, but this was sort of in the middle of the summer, and the grapes were just starting to like take on their color, and they were really looking great, and the trimming seemed like it was working perfectly, and all of that stuff. And so this was late 2022, and we went away on a trip. And again, we got back. First thing I wanted to do was go and check on the grapes. I went out there, all gone. I mean, not a single one was left. I was just astonished how thorough these critters were. So yeah, trimming it back was basically just ringing the dinner bell on this farm. And we have these huge flocks of wild turkeys around here. And so I think that's who got them. They just all came in and just picked every single one off. So there is not going to be a 2023 year for the Valentine Wild Red. And so next year, I'm going to do my trimming, but I'm going to net that motherfucker next year and try and protect my grapes and try again, see if we can do another round of making wine. But there you go. That had nothing to do with audio. Sorry about that. But, you know, that's what's going on here. It's a little bit of everything. All right. I'll see you in the next episode. It is... setting up the basement for mixing with the large Strauss monitor. So we'll see that next episode. Some more audio-esque stuff. All right. See you then. Bye.